All right, welcome back, guys. Week 7 fantasy football, T&T Sports. We're going to dive in today. We've got a 9:30 game, Patriots and Jags playing in London. But before we get started with this stuff, we're going to go game by game. But what we're going to do first is go through some of the injuries and just kind of see where guys are at this week, who's in, who's out. First and foremost, Jonathan Taylor, he's out again. Jerome Ford, I'm thinking, is out. Tajay Spears out. Dallas Goddard out. Jawan Jennings out. Some guys that are likely out: Quentin Johnson, Jacoby Myers, TJ Hawkinson's unlikely to play as well. Guys who are in.
Actually, yeah. I think they said Hawkinson might play. I don't know.
I think he's out.
Okay.
James Cook is back in this week. Rashad White is in. Chase Brown's in. Devon Achane's in. Mixon's in. Singletary's back this week, so if you had Tracy, keep that in mind. Jalen Warren's in. Bucky Irving in. Jaden Reed is in. Marvin Harrison Jr. passed the concussion protocol. He's in as well. We've got a lot of good games. Let's kick it off with the
ETN is doubtful, right, for the
ETN is out.
He's out.
Yeah, ETN is out, so fire up Tank Bigsby.
Well, I don't know about that.
No?
I mean, Tank Bigsby laid the big fat egg last week.
He did. He did.
Dearness Johnson. I mean, and I don't understand what the play is there, but let's start with that first game. So,
yeah. Let's start with that game. 9:30, Patriots at the Jags in London. I'm excited. It's not really a good game. Both teams 1-5, but I think we'll have some stuff that happens in that game that'll be good. We get to watch Drake May in his second start.
Yeah, I think I actually I'm way more encouraged about the Patriots wide receivers now. I think they all come into play. So we got a couple things going in this game. Drake May, for you people out here who don't know it, let me explain something to you. He's the closest thing that we're going to get in the NFL right now to what I would call a Josh Allen light. Okay, so what I mean by that, he's got a big arm, not particularly accurate at times, but a big arm, and can run the ball. And he's got size.
Yeah, he's a big kid.
220 pounds, athletic, can run. I can't over and under. Drake May is the fastest quarterback probably in the NFL 40-wise. He runs a 4.5 40. Okay, so this is not an average Jared Goff type of guy. This is a guy who's mobile and has a big arm. What his problem has been, and if you watched New England, their right tackle couldn't play Pop Warner football. My God. I mean, this guy was in what's that guy for the team that May was playing last week was in his face the whole game. I can't think. But anyway, he didn't have any time, but he did a good job. I'm pretty high on May. I wish I would have got him and stopped him.
Here's the thing about May, though. May will throw interceptions.
Yes.
He will throw 3 touchdowns, but he'll throw 2 interceptions.
He's kind of I'm telling you, it's Josh Allen.
He's Josh Allen when Josh Allen got into the league. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's Josh Allen. He's not as big and tough a guy, but I've seen this guy take incredible punishment.
Yeah,
and get right back up. So he's a good guy to pick up. And if you're in a league that has keepers, a really excellent pickup.
Yeah. He's a guy that's going to cost you just a late round pick next year, and he's going to run and pass the ball.
All right, starting with keeping with that theme on that game, so we can get through this pretty quick. Tennessee, Pollard's about the only playable guy on their team. May is playable. And let's go back to the wide receiver core. The one guy you don't want is Polk. Polk drops the ball, and the coaches have lost all confidence in him. He is not going to be the guy. It's going to be Bourne. It's going to be Demario Douglas. Pop Douglas is the guy, in my opinion. May throws to him. May likes him. He's a football player. He plays hard. The coaches like him. Douglas is your guy.
But LJ, they're playing the Jags. They're not playing Tennessee. You mentioned
Oh, I was looking at Tennessee.
Tennessee's playing Buffalo. But
Oh,
on,
how the hell did that?
on the Jags, I think you can start Thomas every week, and I think you can start Bigsby this week potentially if we get a notification here soon for sure that ETN is out. If you need to, more of a flex play than like an RB1 or an RB2. If honestly, but I think you can start Bigsby if you need to.
Yeah, and I don't. And you could also play either kicker if you need a kicker, and you could also play New England's defense because Jacksonville.
What about Stevenson? Ramondre Stevenson?
Yeah, he's a play too. I mean, this Jacksonville defense stinks.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
So Drake May could run and pass all over these guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if May runs a couple balls in today. Honestly, I guarantee you this. I bet that he would get 40 yards last week, and he got 38. I guarantee you he'll get over 40 today because I'm not betting.
Yeah.
All right.
I did the play again this week. Drake May over 25 yards rushing.
Oh, I'm going to get that one in right now. Where's that on?
It's an easy
play. Go ahead and go to the next game, and I'm going to get that bet in.
All right, it's Tennessee Titans and Buffalo Bills on that Josh Allen theme. Josh Allen has a new weapon in Buffalo. He's got Amari Cooper. Huge for Josh Allen and huge for Amari Cooper owners. So if you've got Amari Cooper, man, you couldn't have gotten any better of a situation there. So you've got Amari Cooper now in Buffalo. It probably hurts some of these other guys on Buffalo a little bit, like Keon Coleman and maybe even Kincaid. It may hurt Kincaid some, but it's great. It
may help Kincaid.
It could help Kincaid. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see this week. I think it's great for James Cook too because it's going to open up that defense even more because people are going to be focused on Amari Cooper. So we'll see. Last week, Ray Davis looked really good while James Cook was out. So we'll see what happens there this week. It could be a split backfield. I don't know, but I think James Cook will still be the guy. On that Tennessee side, I don't want anything to do with any of them besides Tony Pollard, and that's the only guy I'm playing. I'm not playing Calvin Ridley at all. But I will say I don't think Will Levis is playing this week. I think he's out. So I don't know.
What did you do? You went 25?
25, yeah.
And that doesn't pay squat.
Well, I'll put it in with something else, like maybe a Saquon Barkley touchdown plus Drake May 25, and then basically it'll pay you some great money because Barkley's scoring a touchdown today.
Probably.
But you could go 40 over, and I don't hate that either.
I'm going 40 over place. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
What's that pay?
16 on a $5 bet.
On a $5 bet, yeah, it's great.
All right. So so we're at Buffalo right now, right? Buffalo and the Tennessee.
And I talked about Buffalo, and they've got Amari Cooper now, and that's a great spot to be. If you're any player on Buffalo right now, you're in a good spot. The whole offense is opening up. Everything's good. On the other side of things, if you're in Tennessee, you're in a terrible spot. But I did see Will Levis is hurt. I don't think he's playing today.
He's not. Mason Rudolph's starting.
So that actually helps the wide receivers there, to tell you the truth, because Will Levis has just been awful. I watched every single one of Calvin Ridley's targets last week, and not a single one of them was even close. It wasn't even a catch. None of them were catchable balls even.
They were saying this morning on a podcast I was watching, he has the most uncatchable targets in the NFL.
If you get a chance, watch Calvin Ridley's 8 targets he got last week, and not a single one of them was even in his area. It was terrible. So basically, I would say play Tony Pollard, and that's it there.
All right, so the next game is the one, a really good one, Seattle and Atlanta. You can stack your DFS lineups with either Atlanta or Seattle in that game, I think.
Yeah.
You got a
Yep.
lot of
I
opportunity.
love DK Metcalf this week. I
I
love
love London too.
Drake London, both of them. I even like JSN this week to catch 7 or 8 balls. I like
And
I like Bijan to have a big game as well there. So you got all the typical players there. You can probably start Geno Smith honestly too.
oh, I think you can start pretty much all the regular guys, Metcalf, Najigba Smith. I
And
don't
what about
know about Lockett so much, but you could definitely go Atlanta with London, Pitts,
and if you're in
Mooney,
need of a tight end today, because you
Fan.
got one on bye, Noah Fant could be a sneaky good play today.
Yeah, I'm playing him in some DFS lineups. I'm playing. We'll get to Calcaterra and when we get to Philadelphia, but there's some decent tight ends out there. Even the guy from the Panthers,
Yeah,
Jatavian Sanders, is a guy to look at.
yeah.
So this
All
is a
right.
good game. Cousins, you could stack Cousins, Mooney, and London. You could go Bijan, Cousins, or you could turn around and go. You could go Geno and Metcalf and Fant. I mean, you got a lot of things going in that game. Because should be. I think it's the highest scoring game of the day, predictable, isn't it? Even
The over under is 52. So
yeah, I think
it's
it
gonna be a
is.
high scoring game.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's the highest scoring game of the day. Speaking of that, let's get into another high scoring, potentially high scoring game. Lions Vikings. Another game where you can stack. If you're doing DFS, it's a great stack because you can stack. I'd probably stack Vikings receivers with Darnold. I think
Yeah.
Addison has a good game. I think, we've seen him.
The problem with golf is, unless they throw him a touchdown pass like they did one week, very unlikely for him to get in the end zone on his own. So, and then you just don't know. When you stack him, you can go St. Brown or you can go Jameson Williams, but it could be Laporta that day. He could throw a lot of passes to Gibbs. So I think Darnold's a safer quarterback to stack because he's going to throw to Addison and he's going to throw to Jefferson.
Yeah.
Okay. Period. We know that, and he's going to throw out of the backfield as well to Jones and to Chandler. So I think that's a good stack. You want as much a part of this game as you can get. Jameson Williams is in play. St. Brown's in play. Laporta has stunk all year, but you know what's happened to Laporta, Friedman?
What?
His name is Jameson Williams. They've switched spots. Last year, Jameson Williams had 9% of the targets, and Laporta had 19. This year, Jameson Williams has 19, and Laporta's got 9. So they switched. So you want more Jameson Williams than Laporta at this time. And Gibbs and Montgomery, you got me off Montgomery. I'm not sure that's right or not, but you said he's not.
Well, I don't know. I just think it's going to be a Gibbs game today. I just got a feeling it's going to be a Gibbs game. But that's going to be another high scoring game. We'll probably see, like a 30, 31, 27 type game there potentially. All right, next game we've got Eagles Giants. Another, potentially a good game here. Eagles are coming off a bye week. Oh, wait, no, they're not. Are they?
No. They were bye on the 5th week, so they played last week.
Right. So we've got AJ Brown back. He was back last week. Came out there with a boom. Had a great week. Devonta Smith's going to be out there. Saquon Barkley. I think this is a big Saquon Barkley week. He didn't play well last week. Didn't really do too much. On the other side,
got a lot of guys that are starting to show up on fantasy radar, though. You got for the Giants, you got Tyrone Tracy, you got Neighbors back, you got Slayton, who's filled in admirably over. You got Theo Johnson coming on at tight end. You got Daniel Jones, who's become a relevant, quarterback. I wouldn't shock me at all if the Giants win this game.
No, me either. What do you think the running back split's going to be with Singletary back?
I honestly think that Tyrone Tracy's such a better play. He's a better receiver. He's a better runner. He's fresh.
I think they'd be stupid to not play him a lot more than Singletary.
I think they are. The Daboll's, despite his allegiance to Singletary. Daboll's got to keep his job too. So
Yeah,
I look for Tracy. You know, Tracy's still available out there in some leagues too. So you might want to look at him.
And man, he's been good. If you watch him run, he's good, man. You can tell he's a good player.
Well, what I like about Tracy is three things. First off, he was a college player, but he was a wide receiver most of his career in college, so he didn't get the crap beat out of him.
Yeah.
Number two, because he was a wide receiver, he has receiving skills and he understands the passing game, so he can. And number three, he has very good size and speed combination for a guy that's never played a ton of running back. So there's not – I think he might be the steal of the draft in 2 or 3 years when we look back and look at this. I think he's actually got pretty much everything you want in an NFL running back: size, speed, great receiver, good blocker, good vision, good player.
Yeah. And I think if you have him, hold on to him. And if you're in a keeper league, he probably went undrafted.
Definitely.
Assuming.
He's probably listen, I'm newly aboard the Tyrone Tracy train myself. So
yeah. All right. Did you want to talk about the tight end for the Eagles?
Well, that Grant Calcaterra is a sneaky play, guys. He's cheap in DFS. If you need a tight end today, caught 6 passes, I believe, last week, or had 6 targets.
And Goddard's out.
Goddard's out. Yeah. So I've always kind of said, well, if Goddard's out, they don't even throw to the tight end. That wasn't the case last week. They threw a lot to this guy. And we're all a bunch of copycats. So one guy gets 6 targets and we all go out and get him. And then what happens the week we all get him? He gets none.
He gets nothing. He does nothing.
Yeah. So, but I mean, anyway, he's out there. I'm playing him in DFS, believe it or not. So
yeah, he's worth the play in DFS for sure. He's cheap. Texans, Packers.
But man, this is I think the Packers are going to beat them, and I'm just coming out right out straight up. But I'm not crazy about this Houston offense right now. I mean, everyone's all crazy about Stroud. I think it runs through Nico Collins, and I think Nico Collins is the by far the best player on that team. And
I've just been so surprised how good Mixon has been when he's played. I mean, he has been unstoppable, that guy.
He's not even 100%.
And he's not even 100%, which means they probably have a really good offensive line. So Stroud seems to be covered back there. I think, Tank Dell's playable this week for sure. I think Diggs obviously playable this week. Mixon is a great play. No one's really been talking about Schultz, but he's out there, and he may even be available in some of your leagues to potentially play. You think he's an okay player? No.
What bothers me about Schultz lately is he's just playing so small.
Yeah,
I just don't like that. I mean, I like tight ends that play big. That's what's always bothered me about Pitts. He plays small. Schultz has never done that. But he's crouching down to make his catches. He's doing some stuff out there. He's doing like Andrews does. Falls down as soon as he catches the ball. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Schultz.
Yeah,
not crazy about him.
He hasn't looked good. I'll tell you that. And then on the other side, the Packers. We don't have Wicks this week, right? He's out, isn't he?
Well, no, they're saying he may play. I mean, they may have all 4 of them. There's only 2 that are playable, Reed and Watson, in my opinion, right now. Yeah. Listen, Dobbs had 2 touchdown passes. That very well could have been Wicks. It very well could have been anybody. The point is, other than the 2 touchdown catches, he did nothing. Yeah. And they were lucky catches, believe me. So don't get all riled up about Dobbs.
And we say this every week, but friggin' Watson catches 2 balls, but he finds the end zone every day.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play someone besides Reed, it's Watson. I've been burnt by Wicks, and it's not happening to me again. Watson or Reed, period.
And that's it. Yeah. That's it out there. And again, like LJ said, at any point, Wicks could go out and score 2 touchdowns, but the next game he'll put 0 up for you. So,
and not only that, he drops the ball.
Yeah.
So,
Josh Jacobs,
He's always playable, in my
Always
opinion.
playable. And then honestly, I like both quarterbacks in that game, Love and Stroud to start. Both of them are, top
Yeah.
12 quarterbacks for the week, probably.
And Tucker Kraft's playable.
Playable. He was very disappointing last week, though.
Well, I knew that was going to happen. Everybody, all these guys ran out and they said they thought they had the next,
Mm.
Kelsey. And, he had a great game, but he's not going to have that game every week. So he's going to have, it's going to tight end this year's a roller coaster, folks. So if you got a good one, if you have, I don't even know who the hell you'd call a good one at this point, Friedman.
No, I think you can throw out any tight end, and they're just as likely as any other one to have a good week or have a
I was
terrible.
looking at one of your DFS lineups, and I think Njoku might be the best play of the week in tight end just because there's nobody else to throw to, and they're going to have to throw short.
I know. I'm telling you, Njoku's a great play this week. So if he's out there and you need a tight end, go grab him and play Njoku this week.
I would think so.
Speaking of that, let's talk about that game. Bengals Browns. Browns are terrible. I mean terrible. And they just lost their best.
Got worse. They're terrible, and they just got worse.
Watson doesn't even want to play. You see him on the sidelines. He's just like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to be here. They got to potentially switch to Jameis Winston. I actually like Winston. But on that side, I think Ford is out this week.
Yep, he's out.
So who's their running?
Well, it's Chubb. He's playing.
Oh, it's Chubb. Chubb's back. I guess Chubb, I probably wouldn't play him this week. They're probably going to ramp him up. Probably won't give him, 15, 20 carries right off the bat this week. But you can watch it and see. I mean, he's coming off of a devastating injury. So
I would caution anybody. Now, will the Browns, if they get to the 1 yard line today, try to get Nick Chubb a touchdown? Absolutely.
100%.
So, if you want to go, if you're touchdown dependent and you need, my guess is and that's a big if. I don't even know if they'll score.
Yeah.
But if they get close, they're going to try like hell to get Chubb in the end zone.
Bengals defense is a really good play today.
Yeah, it's a good play.
It's a great play.
Even though they're not particularly good defense.
No, they're not, but it's a good play today. On the other side of things, the Bengals, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, all great plays. Chase Brown.
Boston a pinch.
Boston a pinch. Chase Brown.
Eric Hall still out there tight. And again, same story with tight end. Who knows? Yeah. If we knew, we'd tell you. We don't know.
Do you prefer Moss or Chase Brown?
Chase Brown.
Me too. I think Chase Brown's the play if you're going to go running back in that game. Moving to this next game, Dolphins, Colts. Really interesting one because Richardson's back this week. Who's Richardson love to throw to?
Well, Richardson, all three wide receivers are going to play. So you got Pierce, you got Downs, and you got Pittman. And then you also have Mitchell. Yeah,
and you got Adonai Mitchell too.
And so it's a crowded receiver core with a very, very, very unpredictable quarterback. Let's put it that. Now, one thing we can almost guarantee you today, folks, we can't guarantee you much, but we can almost guarantee you this, that they're going to try to not let Richardson run much. So if you want Richardson, if you think Richardson to play because he's going to run it into the end zone, not so fast.
Well, problem there.
But once the game starts, they can't control it. So
they also have no running back because Sermon is horrible.
I told my son-in-law today who has Taylor, I told him play Goodson over.
Goodson is a better play over Sermon. He's a better runner. Sermon just looks terrible out there.
Sermon looks like he running with the piano on his back. I don't know what the hell.
He looks.
And he stunk when he was at. Why do you think San Francisco got rid of him? They look at the guys they had, Mason, and then they drafted Garindo. They could have kept Sermon.
Yeah. On the other side of things, the Dolphins, we still don't have Tua.
Tua's back next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
But this week, we have no Tua. So temper your expectations with Tyreek Hill and Waddle one more week. Hopefully by next week they're good. But I do like A-Chain this week. I think that Colts defense is not good. And I think they're going to get A-Chain the ball quite a bit because they have to. Because the kid passing the ball can't pass.
Well,
So
the problem with the A-Chain, and I watched it long. I was watching guys discuss him, and it's an interesting argument. I'm not sure which side of it I fall on, but he's just physically too small, potentially, to be an every down back in the NFL.
yeah,
So if you think this guy's going to ever carry the ball 20 times and play, every snap, he's not Kieran Williams. He
no.
can't hold up.
And he was at his best when they were giving him the ball like 7 or 8 times a game.
Actually, you're exactly right, Freeman. He was at his best when they had a full complementary backfield when Mostert was healthy.
Yeah. That's when A-Chain was incredible. The guy was
10, 12 carries a day, 5 or 6 passes, done.
Yeah, and that's it.
All he's got to do is break 1 or 2, and he's got a great game. They're overusing him, and when he gets overused, his body can't hold up.
He gets hurt, and he goes down, and we've seen him in and out all year so far.
One thing I wanted to hit on: we went over the. Did we do the Carol? No, we haven't. Okay,
no, that's next. That's the next game. Carolina versus Washington.
I love this game.
Me too. I really do.
I mean, for fantasy purposes, I don't know who the hell. I mean, my suspicion is it's going to be high scoring.
Well,
I don't think Washington can stop Hubbard. I don't think
Hubbard has been so good.
I don't think Carolina can stop Daniels. So
I was looking at Hubbard's stats over the course of even the last 4 weeks. The guy's been so good, man.
He's a marginal RB1 at this point.
Yeah. I mean, they have no reason to rush Jonathan Brooks back at this point.
I'm going to tell you something. Here's how I know Chuba Hubbard is the real deal. And this is why you know it too, Friedman. Friedman and I played DFS quite a bit. Guess what? Chuba Hubbard is highly owned in DFS.
Yeah.
So.
Highly, and for good reason. I mean, the guy has been awesome. Same thing with Deontay Johnson. He's been good in these type of games. He's really hurt, though. They were saying he's got, a rib injury, an ankle injury.
The thing is, I am absolutely shocked, Friedman, because if you and I were the GM of the Panthers, which we should be, because I'm willing to do that for the next 10 years, at a minimal salary for these guys to help them out. They obviously need a lot of help. But if you and I were running this organization, Friedman, first thing we do is say, hey, Deontay Johnson, he's available.
Right.
To anybody who wants to give us the first, second, third round pick or whatever.
Imagine Deontay Johnson on the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm shocked that it's Cooper and Adams that have gone. Well, I'm not shocked, but I really think the third leg on that is Johnson. There's no reason for the Panthers to keep him. None.
And what are they doing? They're so dumb. All they got to do is make the call to Andy Reid and say, "Hey, man, would you give us a third or a second? We'll give you Deontay Johnson." Boom.
Well, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. Yeah, Kansas City could use him, but I mean, so could have Buffalo. So could a lot of teams. I mean, who else is out there that needs a good wide receiver? I mean, he's Las Vegas. So
Las Vegas needs a lot more than the receiver.
Yeah, but I'm just saying Deontay Johnson's out there. But breaking off of him, he's beat up a little bit. That's another reason I'd move him. But he's beat up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You also you got to get Leggett. You got to get Mingo. You've invested first-round picks in these guys. You got to get them on the field. They got to play. The days of Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson, they need to go. I mean, it's not practical to play these guys at this point. I mean, I know why you're playing Dalton, just simply because he gives you the best chance to even be competitive. But the other situation, we need to move on from and start playing Mingo, Leggett, and
at least see what you got in those guys. Pass them the ball and see what they do. You
got this big tight end, Sanders.
Yeah. On the Commanders side, love Jaden Daniels every single week right now at this point. I think Brian Robinson is in, right?
Brian Robinson's in, and I tried to work him into my DFS lineups. My thought on Robinson is that he's touchdown dependent, but that's who they give the ball to. He's
Yeah.
ruggedly tough to get. He is hard to stop out of that end zone, dude.
Oh man, yeah.
He's a
But
tough.
so is Eckler. Honestly, so is Eckler.
Yeah, but
Eckler's one of
Robinson's a
those
guy
two.
they're going to on the goal line.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy could get 3 carries and 2 of them could be touchdowns today. So if you have him, I would probably play him. I was looking at him in DFS just because of his touchdown potential. It's going to be a lot of scoring, so hopefully it's Jaden Daniels doing the scoring because I have him, but, we'll see. I think McLaurin's in play. I think Noah Brown's even in play. We've seen Diami Brown catch passes for them.
And then
Zach Ertz has been really good.
Yeah, Zach Ertz. I really liked that other tight end they drafted, and they just haven't really gotten him. He's barely played.
Yeah. Well, he had a couple of drops and a fumble or something, and it kind of got him on the crap end with the coaches.
I think, though, I've said it before. I think in a year or two we're going to see that kid emerge, Sanat, and be a good tight end.
Oh, I think both tight ends, backup tight ends in this game are going to be good. You got Sanat from Washington, and then from Panthers, you got Jatavian Sanders. Think about that Texas receiving core last year with Quinn Ewers, who's still at Texas, and then you got Arch Manning. But you think about that receiver core. You had Whittington, Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, and Jatavian Sanders.
Crazy.
On one team.
On one team, man.
And plus the running back, Brooks.
Yeah, that'd make me look good at quarterback. I could go out there and be good.
Yeah.
All right. Raiders, Rams. This game is puke city for me. I don't like it at all. No Cooper Kupp still. I think he's still out. They're saying.
No, I was hearing he was playing. He's not.
Earlier in the week they said he was. Now they're saying he's trending toward being out. Puka Nacua out still. So on the wide receiver side for the Rams, honestly, someone's going to have a good day because the Raiders defense is not very great. So I think, again, it's going to be the same guys we've been talking about for weeks. It's Tutu, Atwell, and Whittington, right?
Yeah.
That's it on there. On the Raiders side of things, I don't know if I want anyone.
Well, I mean, in DFS, you might get lucky and play Turner and Tucker and get a good outing out of them. I don't know what's going to happen there. The quarterback
Bowers, I guess, is the only one. Bowers
is by far the best play if you're going to play anybody, but he's expensive in DFS, so it's hard to play.
A little too expensive, but he could also score 2 touchdowns a day and have 90 yards. So
he could also score nothing.
He could also score nothing.
And for that expense, you can't take that risk in DFS.
Yeah, right, for sure. 425 game, we've got Chiefs 49ers. Man, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, again, if Patrick Mahomes is barely playable in fantasy, so he'll, unfortunately, he's not. If you got a better quarterback, Daniel Jones is better play than
Would you rather play Geno Smith or Patrick Mahomes this week?
Oh, Geno, hands down.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, dude. I'd rather play Bo. I should have played Bo Nix over Mahomes.
Bo Nix didn't even throw a touchdown and scored about 14. What Mahomes' average has been this year.
Over,
yeah.
So Mahomes is a tough play. I mean, and they're not going to change anything about what he's doing because he's winning.
Right.
So that's
about Kareem Hunt? Is he the RB?
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely, if you have him playing.
Yeah, I think he gets in the end zone this week.
I think on Kansas City, the playable guys are Mahomes marginally.
Yeah.
Worthy is pretty safe bet. Schuster's pretty safe bet. Kelsey for sure. Running back Hunt for sure. I don't think any of the other running backs even bother with him. And then, as usual, I always throw Noah Gray in there. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
All right, and
San Francisco Jennings is out.
Jennings is out. So you've got your usuals there. You're
Yeah,
going
you
to
got
play.
Kittle, Samuel, and Ayuk,
Yeah,
and Mason.
and then Mason, and I think Mason was a little banged up with that shoulder injury, but I think he's fine. They're saying
I
he's
think he's
fine.
fine.
So do you think Garendo will get more run after his game last week?
Well, I damn sure have him. If I was, wouldn't you have him if you were San Francisco? If you had Mason or McCaffrey, I'd have. The
Oh yeah,
ideal situation is if you were a McCaffrey owner, you got Mason, and then when you got Mason, you got Garendo. You're set.
but then then you've got freaking
Well,
3 San Francisco running
but
backs.
you can put McCaffrey on the IR,
Yeah,
and you can hold Mason, and you can hold Garendo to you. And then as soon as McCaffrey's off the IR, you drop
you drop
Garendo
them both.
or both, really. But
Yeah. All right. And then the last game is going to be the 8 o'clock game, which
well, we
is,
got 2 Mondays too.
and we've got 2 Monday games. Yeah. We've got the 8 o'clock game, which is going to be Jets Steelers. Another one I'm not too interested in, to tell you the truth.
Not from a DFS perspective. I mean, is Adams playing?
No, Adams is out.
So he's not going to play. So, it's probably going to be a big Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall type of game.
Yeah. And the Steelers are starting Russell Wilson.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Pickens has a good game and Rodgers spends a lot of the game on his ass. Would you?
I would not be surprised. Yeah, and then tomorrow we've got 2 really good games, actually. Both of them are going to should be high-scoring games. We've got Ravens Bucks, which should be an extremely high-scoring game.
Right. They do what each team does well, the other does terrible. So
Yeah.
Tampa Bay can't stop the run, and Baltimore can't stop the pass. So it should be high scoring affair. I always, to be honest with you, everyone's always said Josh Allen is the best fantasy quarterback, and he's not. It's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So
it's been all year this year, Lamar.
And and pretty much, I bet you, if you go back the last 5 years, because you got to take out the injury games that Lamar's had. If you put those injury games back in, he's always been the best.
Yeah.
So as we all sit around and scratch our asses till they bleed about some of this stuff, the bottom line is the first quarterback taken in every fantasy football draft should have been for years, Jackson.
Yeah. And speaking of Jackson, he has found a good target in Zay Flowers, and they're really starting to come together now.
Yeah, well, it's exactly when we don't have Flowers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've been saying it about Flowers for a while. I've got Flowers in one of my leagues, and I just knew there was going to be a time where it all came together with him and Jackson. He's just too good, man. He reminds me of like an Antonio Brown kind of player. He's really good after the catch.
Yeah, and they also have Bateman, and Bateman was a first-round draft pick, or at least a first-round talent.
Yeah,
and that's the one problem with Jackson. You really have no idea game to game, and you say Flowers and they connected. It wouldn't surprise me today if Bateman catch 8 balls and Flowers catches 2. So that's just the way that that's why I don't invest too heavily in that offense. If you don't have Jackson or Henry, it's really a crapshoot, isn't it?
Yeah, you just never know week in and week out. On that Bucs side of things, has there been a better receiver this year than Godwin?
No.
I think he's the best. He's been the best wide receiver in the league.
Which is, again, shocking.
Yeah. Right? Evans is hurt. I think he's playing, but he is hurt. So keep that in mind. We may see more of that McMillan kid potentially, right?
And if you have Rachaad White, you might want to figure out how to trade him or get rid of him at this point, because Tucker and Irving are gonna. I mean,
that's a 3-headed backfield, and I think, to tell you the truth, it goes Irving, Tucker, White.
At this point, it may, and Tucker certainly proved that he was. He didn't look just physically, he looked better than the other two to
He
me.
looked like Austin Eckler out there.
Yeah,
He looked like Eckler. He looked like an absolute monster out there.
he did. I didn't even
And I
know
was
who.
telling you, he was really, really good in college. Really good. And he at the combine they found like a heart issue with him or something. So he went undrafted. It ended up not being anything to worry about. Bucks picked him up, and they've been saying all preseason since they got the guy that this kid's really, really good, way better than people thought. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him have another good game this week.
Yeah, I was going to look up his see
I'll
where
tell
he
you.
went to school.
I'll tell you his college
So
stats.
Syracuse.
Yeah, I'll tell you his college stats. They were really good. I'm pretty sure he was the ACC Player of the Year or something.
Okay, I got him here, Friedman. So in 2020, which was a COVID year, he got 626 rushing yards, 4.8 average per carry, and he had 113 receiving yards. 2021, he had 246 carries for 1,500 yards, 6 yards a carry, and 12 touchdowns, 20 catches for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then his senior year, he had 1,000 yards rushing, 254 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns rushing 2 touchdowns. I mean, yeah,
He's good.
but he's way better than I thought.
Yeah, he was really, really, he was a good college player. I mean, that junior year, those stats are incredible. He rushed for 1,500 yards.
What was his combine?
I
Oh, I
don't know.
got it. Okay, so
He's fast, isn't he?
he's 5'9" and a quarter, 207 pounds, and he's got 9.5-inch hands. It ran a 4.45. Not
Yes.
bad.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. I'm telling you, but he looks big out there. He runs big.
Well, he looks a lot like those prototypical Emmitt Smith type guys. Low to the ground,
Yeah.
knows how to take a hit. I just was kind of seeing where he's from, Maryland area.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see him a little bit more tomorrow night.
Well, if I was
I picked him up in most leagues that I could because I think he I mean it's tough to say because Bucky Irving has looked really good too. So
yeah, I was looking there. Did they draft Tucker or was he
he was
free
undrafted,
agent?
free agent.
That's right. He was a free agent. How in the world? But it was the heart issue, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, because those statistics he put up, he was definitely a draftable player.
Oh, big time. Should have
Yeah.
been. Probably should have. He'd probably been a fourth rounder or something like that.
Yeah,
Third.
third or fourth,
Yeah.
probably.
All right. So then the last game we've got is
Chargers and the
Chargers Cardinals, which again is another one where we should see some scoring.
That game, we just don't know what Kyler Murray we're going to see. If I knew what Kyler Murray I was going to see, I'd feel better about this game. I know what I'm going to see with the Chargers. I'm going to see Dobbins running the ball. I'm going to see Herbert making short passes to McConkey in the flat, and they're going to basically try to pound it down their throat. But I have no idea what Arizona's going to do.
Do you think we'll see a little bit more Kimani Vidal?
I think so. You got Dobbins. This is a guy that hasn't really played competitive football in 3 years. And you're talking about, he's been getting 25 carries a game. They got to start working some Vidal in there just to give him a little bit of a break. He won't hold up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we were going to have no Quentin Johnson. So honestly, I love Lad McConkey this week. I think he's going to have, he could score 2 touchdowns this week. He may catch 110 yards for 2 touchdowns and be wide receiver 3 or 2 on the week or something.
Well, it lines up that way.
Right.
Yeah, as we've well documented, it lined up really well for Wicks,
Yeah.
almost as good as better than it does for McConkey, but didn't work out.
On
So
the other side, I do not like James Conner this week
I think there's
at
something
all.
going on there. I don't know though.
I think there's we talked about it. I think there's an injury there. The guy's strong as an ox and he wants to play, I'm sure, play through it and doesn't want to mention it and stuff like that. But I think there's a little injury there. It's also just not a good matchup. I'm taking Connor out and I'm playing guys over him, like, who other guys that I've got. Like, would you rather play Chuba Hubbard or James Conner this week?
Chuba Hubbard,
Without question, right?
without question.
Never thought I'd say that, but I do.
Well, it's
Chase Brown or James Conner this week?
probably Brown. I mean, again, I don't know what's going on with Connor. So without them telling us, I don't know. So he could be fine and he could go out and get 200 yards today. I don't know.
Yeah.
Benson, no, is hurt. That's another
Benson's hurt?
thing.
Oh,
Benson's
wow.
questionable.
Jeez.
So I would think Connors, and it may be time to go get DeMercado. Remember when
God, he's
everyone
so
ran
bad,
out last year?
DeMercado's so bad, though. He's not good.
I know, but remember when everyone ran out and got him last year?
Yeah.
And he stunk.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the games this week. There's some really good plays, some good opportunities. Who are your favorite kind of sneaky plays this week?
I like Daniel Jones to have a good game. I like Drake May to have a good game. A quarterback position. I like Sean Tucker to have a good game for Tampa Bay. I like Leggett to have a good game for Carolina, especially if Johnson's banged up. I think Noah Brown is a sneaky pick in the Commanders game,
Yep.
especially if they double down on McLaurin. I think Noah Brown could have a good game. I think Ernest Johnson is a sneaky pick in the Jacksonville game that's getting ready to start right now or has started. So probably can't pick him up at this point, but I think J.K. Dobbins could be a good play this week. I think Justin Jefferson's my play of the week. I think he's going to have a great game. So, hey, folks, just getting ready to crank up. Have a great one.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
All right.